Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight, or any other night that you watching this. We appreciate the support as well. So obviously, there's a couple of beautiful connections. The one that tonight, and obviously last night and tonight, it's what we call the new moon of the month of Cancer, and Kabbalah says that in this month, even the energy of the cancer disease actually have within this month. Not God forbid that whoever have cancer, it has to be a sign of cancer, right? It's not the point. It's the consciousness that it's been used wrongly, and that's what we want to awaken for ourselves. One is the new moon energy, which is a renewed connection to our soul. Every month you have a connection to another 30 days of another elevated states of your soul, and therefore, in order to connect to it, you need to know a couple of ideas. Again, more you know about the new moon, more you know about what available cosmically, more you make connection. Less you know, less connection. Doesn't mean it's not influence us. Which that's the point. Many people think, no, why do I need to know? Why do I care about this? Why do I care about that? It's for those people to know, astronomers, astrologers, or spiritual people. People can be very, in a way, too dense. Too much thickness. Around their heart and around their mind, doesn't let information or new information coming in. The idea is, cosmically, we've been influenced by the universe every single day. We spoke many times that our greatest teacher is time. Time telling you gotta move forward. Like that, all the angelic system, it's every single day. Get up and say, okay, wake up the people. They need to move forward. Whoever's stuck for a little bit longer, that's cancer. What is cancer? If you look at even the animal, the actual crab that represent the cancer, right? Think about it. What do? They have those clamps, right? When they get hooked, closed, it's very hard to release it, right? When they get stuck or reluctant on something, it's so hard to even release them from that. Second thing about the actual the crab, which is the cancer sign of the cancer, is if you see the way it moves, it never moves forward. It's always moves sideways. You see, that's how it moves. So obviously you see already why they represent by that particular sign of the zodiac, because in this month there's called Sartan. Sartan is come from the word lehasir, to remove the idea of tan. What is tan? Sar is to remove. So Sartan is cancer. Sar is to remove. Tan is all the grudges, all the thing that we got our claws, right? Got locked, right? Our grip cannot release. What is tan? Tan is tina, grudges, like certain bitterness that we have from an experience, right? Sometimes you even forget somebody, you forgive somebody, but you cannot remove the bitterness that you have. Sometimes you get excited about something, but you still have the grudges from way long ago, so you can't really fully experience. You want to move forward in relationship, but you can't. So you move it sideways. That is the energy of Cancer. Now, we know that the energy of Cancer is ruled by the planet called Levana. Levana is the moon. It's called Yareach. Why you call it Levana? Levana is in Aramaic, we call the moon Levana. Why? Because the idea of the energy of Lavan, which is white, which is purity, right? Purity. So we want to connect to the pure aspect, because if you look at the Cancer or the crab, inside of the tough shield that they have, a very tough shield, almost unbreakable shield externally, right? So you can see, or you can think that Cancer sign are very strong and not, they're very much inside is like very soft, very mushy, like very, jello type of thing, right? They are very soft people, very, very kind, very loving, very much family oriented. Cancer sign are very together. But if something happened, not in their way, not in their direction, if they sense a threat in a relationship, all of a sudden it's like a shield, right? And they run away. You can't get them. You can't get them. So obviously we learn that month can be influencing people in a way that they don't even know. And they can get stuck for 30 days. Maybe the next new moon comes in Leo, makes them feel greater. Whatever it is, the influence. But the majority of the world are robotically following those energies that are being channeled to this world, and we cannot do anything about it. So this is part of the conversation of actually connected to this week's energy. This week's energy is called Chukat. Last week we spoke about Korach. What was Korach's problem? Vaikach, he took. If you take the word Chukat and switch the letters, you get Tikach, which is like, again, another energy of taking. That's how there's always, they happen not in the same time, those portions. Like chronologically we're speaking about, is not really one after the other, but the energy is necessary for this particular time. After what happened with Korach, what is Korach? Is all of us. When he took, now we have another. We learn the risk of being a taker. You challenge yourself to take, and you see it doesn't always work. So we learn that this week's portion is called Chukat. What does Chukat mean? Rules, laws, right? Principles. One need to understand. It says, "Zot Chukat Torah." These are the laws of the Torah and the spiritual path. Again, many people don't like rules. Myself included. We don't like rules. Think about it from a childhood. You couldn't stand your parents putting rules and the teachers putting rules, and you just want to break those rules, or you're afraid to break those rules, and eventually you just resent those rules. We don't understand. Maybe there's some kind of an ignorance or some kind of like illusionary thinking that we are actually know what's going on in this world and we know what's better for us. Yeah, most of us think we know what's better for us. But when you're not following rules, you're not listening to new, there's no new rules here. Like I always say, my friend, you cannot change gravity, no matter who you are. Like gravity, you have many laws in this world. For example, every 30 days, you and I have an opportunity. It's a rule that was established from the creation of the world. That comes the moment of the birth of the new moon. You have an opportunity to insert consciousness that later on, if you gain consciousness, it's very difficult. It's not about learning about it. Oh, I learned that next week. It's important to learn it in that particular time. It's important to make the connection in that particular opening. Not whenever I want. Yeah, it's gonna be there. It's spiritual world is not bow to these rules. There is way more rules spiritually that we're not really understanding them. We're falling. We despite rules. We hate rules. Why? Because we think that the rules limit us. My friend, today we all know, in order to drive in this country or any of your country, you need to obey the rules. You don't want, not a problem. You're gonna pay for it, right? You think you have a way out. You think you escape. You think you didn't do. You think nobody catch you. Eventually, there are rules that you need to follow. In business, many people think, I don't want to work for this company. Too many rules. Too many rules? Go open your own business. The government will give you rules. There are rules that once you have investors, you have rules that you can, these are like your gods. People think, I don't want to have rules. Yeah? Let me see you want to be, whatever you want to do, tell me. Go buy a house, tell me if you can really see, and all the fire that you need to fill and the rules that you need to apply. So everything is by rules over here. But when we suggesting spiritual laws that can help us, that can change us, that can really give us so much, it makes it very difficult for people to apply. How do you know? And as I said, the Kabbalah says, don't believe a word I'm saying. Don't ever believe me. Check everything I'm saying. And whatever doesn't work, you can check. Don't just follow and do it. That's not what we're saying. But there are suggested rules that, for example, in the month of Cancer, the Kabbalah suggests rules that can eliminate cancer disease from the world if we're doing it collectively. But no, we need to invest trillions and trillions of dollars in researches. And where did we get? People still dying. People still freaking out from that disease, right? Of course. But because as collective, we're not working together, or we're not using the gift that we receive every new moon of Cancer. You can eliminate cancer from the world. Person by himself, almost impossible. That's why it's important, the idea of collective consciousness. That's why it's important that right now, imagine I'm doing that connection with 5 billion people. That they know about it, they know what to think in that right moment. I share with you with the TED Talk. By the way, I want to share with you another TED Talk actually. Now I remember, I share with you another one that came right after. It's amazing. That actually speaks about what I'm talking about today. It's crazy, like how everything is working. You know, it's not like I'm planning that, right? It's just like amazing. It's like a TED Talk knew how to post a video exactly where the portion of the week or the new moon, right? It's not that it happened then, but that's where I get the feeds and all of that, you know, so it's funny. Maybe I'll share with you in the description in the end of the class. So, once I tell myself, I don't want to live by rules that somebody came up with, you're right. But when we're talking about the Kabbalistic, universal rules, disciplines, that exist from the moment of creation, I suggest to try that. Not to believe or to do it. Wait, give it a chance. But just think about the logic, spiritual logic here, okay? We as people, not really naturally always moving forward. Like I said, time tells you, go. All the angelic systems, every day waking up and kick the person. Well, go. Every day. But what do we want to do? Cancer. What is cancer? Leave me alone. Moving left and right. Left and right. You come to here, I'm going to come there. You go over there, you're going to go there. That's what people do. and they close themselves behind the shield. And what happened? That's the cancer. What is cancer, the disease? I'm not a doctor or even know any of that. But it's a cell that went wild, right? And got all his friends together. It's like a riot. It's a cancer cell that create a riot. We're not moving. We want to stay. That's what they clog. That's what they call it, the tumors, right? It's like many cells together. We're not moving, right? No, we are stubborn, right? A sartan is come from the word roten, stubborn. No. And grumpy, bruh. That is cancer. That is the sign of cancer. That's why it's ruled by the planet Moon, which we call it Levana. Levana is to purify ourselves, but is also an antidote to all the time that you embarrass other. Malbin pnei chavero. Every time in cancer, we have the ability to cleanse many times that we, when we embarrass somebody intentionally to hurt them. Again, you embarrass someone in a mistake, not intentional, that's had to be for the person himself. But when you intentionally want to put people down, when you intentionally want to embarrass them, just to hurt them, right? Or just for you to look better. That is what cancer is about. That needs to be cleansed. That's why every year the moon have 1 month and the sun have 1 month. Sun is Leo, moon is for Cancer. To clean and to purify all these type of energy or lack of movement from within us. If you think about it, right? The idea of Cancer is really to use that power to create camaraderie, to open up. And every time this month you want to use the power of this month, if there is an opportunity for you to move right or left, or to escape conversation, or to escape interaction, move forward. Go there. Every time like that this month happening, this is when you have to move forward. When you're about to be closed and hooked on something or someone or anything or any word that they say, no, why did you say that word? Let go. Let go. That is what's available for us in this week. Again, this is for the entire month. But this week in the month of Cancer, we have what we call the portion Chukat, which is a powerful time to do what? In this portion, there's few stories that are happening. But one of them, which is important, they're important to understand why, is the Red Heffer. What does it mean? There was a practice in the desert that they spoke about, that they will take a red heifer, and should be red completely, not even white hair. She didn't work a day in her life, no damages, no hurt, no blood, was nothing. Has to be so pure. And they take that red heifer, they sacrifice it, they burn it, and the ashes, they cleanse the entire nation. Okay? Obviously, that practice, I'm not sure when and where did it happen, if it's ever happened, but it's a consciousness. Within the red heifer consciousness, again, there's many secrets, but I want to connect to one thing. One thing from the Baal Shem Tov, he said something beautiful, that it's important to understand why that connection was so important right now, and why it's so important that it happened to be on the week of the month of Cancer. We know when something is what we call pressing in our life, something that you desire more, something that pushes you, something that driving you, something that you're really craving in your life, equal to that, you're gonna have some kind of, like, I don't want to call it possessed, but ego will get involved. What is ego? Ego, Kabbalistically, it's technically, again, it's a longer conversation. Okay, so maybe I'm going to share with you a couple of ideas, because it's very, very hard to share all of it in 20 minutes. The ego have many outcomes. Many outcomes. But the Kabbalah is divided to, a majority of them is 4 to 5 extensions. 5 main extensions that the ego will be translated, right, in that way. For example, if you take, let me voice them to you. It's anger, control, pride, hatred, and anger, control, pride, hatred, and judgment. These are 5 main extensions, that each one of them is a result of a behavior of ego, or engaging with the ego for too long. What is the idea that we have in this parasha? It's, if you remember the, Korach and all the people last week, now all the negativity that was created, all the plague that was created because of the ego of everybody, ego of disagreement with the leader, the ego of, like, what about us, what about me, right? That ego created so much negativity that created a plague. And now everybody needs cleansing from that. But really, to our life, it's the cancer. What is the cancer? Cancer being triggered by ego. That's what ego does. Ego drives the person crazy. So in this week, it's funny when we're speaking about that, thinking about cancer, it's the ego of control. Anyone in his right mind, or even in his wrong mind, that think that they have some kind of control over here, they already cancer. That's a cancer. What's cancer? The illusion of I'm in control. My friend, if you think that you're in control in this world, you drive yourself so crazy, and you are lose person. As a friendly suggestion, I'm not in control over this and that situation. I'm not in control over how things appear, how things came out. I'm not in control even of what I'm going to say right now. You think I'm control? I know what I'm going to say. Think about you. You know what? In a day-long conversation, I want you to pause and say, wait a second. Was that exactly what I wanted to say? No, I meant to say something. Why? To teach you you're not in control. That's only ego. The ego kicks in. What is the ego? Ego it's a mechanism, that makes you feel more important than the other person. It doesn't matter who it is. It does. Even if you are 2 poor people sitting in the street, your ego is gonna be like, oh, I'm more important. I'm a better poor. Give me more money to me. I'm a better poor. I'm here before them. Even they're gonna have ego, right? Ego is never about who you are, what you are. Any leader, myself, the ego has to be in check all the time. But who's checking our ego? Are we? I'm checking my ego. Your ego, check your ego. It's like a lunatic, checking another lunatic in the crazy home. What's going on? That's a lunatic. So first of all, anytime you have a conversation, for example, that I'm better than somebody else, right? Or I'm more important. You're already in a different type of trajectory. That where the life will guide you, where you're going to be guided, is a place that is, that's the idea. You're always going to be like a Cancer. Always remind yourself, we are just part of the food chain. Whatever happened or doesn't is not in my control. So anytime control is a fake, illusionary idea that we have some kind of control because we live in a house or in an apartment and we have full control over it. No! Do you have control over the pipes? What's going to happen? You go to a vacation, you know what's going to happen in the room. You know what's going to happen when you never know. So why are you faking idea of control in your life? So what do I control? I put it simply. Anytime you're trying to control anything outside of yourself, you're already in the ego and Cancer reality. What is Cancer reality? Holding on. They say it, I heard them, let's no. Or holding on fake ideas and then never move forward. Because what is control? You see, let me take this object. You see a pen. The pen is static, right? It's in control. He's sitting there. He doesn't do anything, right? It's in control. It's under my control, right? What are we thinking? That I can control anything that is physical. But what do? Yes, you can control anything physical. Yeah, you can hold that. It's in my control. Okay. Try to control something that moves, right? Try to control, movement. If you are not a producer of the movement, you need to move along with the energy. For example, comes the new moon of Cancer. Now, today, last night and tonight and tomorrow, right? Comes the new moon of Cancer. You are not in control over what is been pouring to this universe, to this planet, to this world. You are not in control over that. But what do? It's how I control myself. And that is how I control the energy. It's like channeling the energy. If you're going to try to get the energy for you, you bottled up. It's an explosive energy. You can't handle much. The only way to control anything outside of myself is when I start to control internally, only inside of myself. So obviously, staying in control, you need to have some consciousness, but not controlling anything external or how things appear or how things, came up or what people tell you or not even what you tell. I need to just to control, to be in the right consciousness, and everything else comes to you. I'm not in control over that. That's what Cancer is about. In Cancer sign, it's all in control. It's no movement. Why? Because if you move, how am I going to be controlling if I'm moving, right? So it's like moving side. Look at that. Think about it, my dear. Not moving forward because I want to stay in control. And that is why we're getting all the difficulties and challenges in our life. So letting go of control, this is how you gain control. Letting go on control, this is how you gain control. So I shared last week and I want to share it again. If I hold a basketball Again, remember these examples are very important, specifically for the month of Cancer. If I hold a basketball and I need to give it to somebody, if I release the ball from my hands before my hand was the full extension, if I release it here, the ball will drop much closer to me. Imagine if I extend, but then I keep it for like 1 second and then I drop. The ball will drop in the same place. I need to extend fully outside of myself, from sure, nothing to do with me. And then release it. That is when you create movement. That is when you create an absolute control in your life. Absolute control. But when I think I have control outside, or when I think, oh, I'm not getting involved, either way I don't have control, the energy will influence you, the energy will move you, and sometimes not to the right places. You don't want the energy of Cancer sign to move you. You want to move the energy, because the energy keep pouring to this wall this month. You have to be able to understand every situation that comes to you is for the sake of you navigating it outside of you, meaning beyond you. It's never about me in that particular month. Very important to remember the clause of the crab and the movement and the way it look like. That is the view of the character. I'm giving you very simple understanding. What you gaining, what type of purity you get or purification you gain by this week's energy. So remind you, laws that are available in this world, you don't want to obey the laws, it's not a problem, my friend. Nobody gonna hate you. There's no God or some kind of mysterious energy who will hate you or punish you. It's nonsense. It's very nonsense. Again, I don't have time to get into it, to that silly idea that we all got into our head. But definitely, there are laws that if you want to enter to a different reality, you need to adapt yourself to new reality, to new way of handling yourself. Not like everybody, but everybody else is doing it. No! That's why we share the wisdom of Kabbalah, because it's not like anybody else. It's completely different than anybody else. That's the idea. We allow ourselves to obey and to use many laws, universal spiritual laws. Like I said, gravity. Like that, there are many, my friend. If you would know, you says, oh my God. And again, it doesn't mean that you need to be locked in a cage, closed in a room because of all this law. No. It is freeing you. It's to know how to elevate. It's to know why things happen or not. If you don't learn the rules of driving, you cannot go far. Right? You only have to be in public transportation that take you wherever they want, or pay for somebody to drive you, meaning either way it's going to cost you. Right? Either way there's pay. So learn the rules and get to where you want by yourself. Again, by yourself meaning have the power to, but once you apply the rules. So obviously every new moon brings us many layers of consciousness, that the universe is being poured with this specific consciousness, that if I'm from below not elevating myself from above, that energy either depress me, right, suppress me to the ground, or if I have consciousness, now I can use it as a lift, as a motivation, as a greatness for cleansing. In this week, specifically this week, again, they have the entire month, but not to be confused, the week of Parah Aduma, the Red Heifer. Simple rule. They took in the Srefat HaParah, in the burning of the ashes of the cow, of the Red Heifer, they put an oak tree that represents Etz Erez, right? And then some ezov, some weeds that grows in the grass, down on earth, and a worm, little worm, right? So obviously people, reading it, and then it's like, oh yeah, it's very nice. Why they put a piece of tree and all of that? It's to indicate. Para, the Baal Shem Tov says, it comes from the word mafra. The para aduma, the red represent the desire to receive, represent judgment. That represent any time I'm thinking I'm better than somebody else, or I'm more important than somebody else, or I'm bragging more than anybody else. It's mafre. What is mafre? Expanding your ego. It's expanding your ego. Every time you engage with this conversation of me, you mafre. You increasing more and more the judgment. Therefore, has to be a situation that cleanses you. This week, we're reading about it. It cleanses all the time. That we engage with conversations like that. That we engage with me, even our ego that's falling into thinking I'm in control. Stupidity, right? So obviously, that is, if I think I'm in control, so I'm trying to control people, trying to control movement, you can control maybe something static, something that doesn't move, something that's dead. Maybe that's what you can control. You cannot control the deterioration. Oh, maybe some material that you cover it with. Maybe you can control deterioration or wearing off. But technically, you can't control much here. So better move on. Learn to control your energy by learning, adding consciousness, learning adapt yourself many different rules that can allow you to grow. And remember, this month, every time something comes, doesn't work the same way, letting go. Letting go in the right time. Many people say, I let go. I let go before you even want it. Of course, it's not a serious letting go. When you really very hard for you, that's the moment. That's the moment that you completely remove. Because what is Srefat HaPara? Srefa is burning. Sometimes when you have a burning desire for something, you burn everybody to get it for you, right? Think about it. When you have a burning desire for something, you don't care about anything that stops you or tell you, hey, it's too late. I don't care. I'm going to go get it. Right? Burning desire. It can be very great if you use it for the sake of revealing light. But if not, Srefat HaPara. HaPara is the word lehafrot. It's mafre. It's that burning desire makes me more ego and more ego and more ego. I'm better. Look how great I am. And then it's like a big balloon that needs to fly away. That's what happened. Take down. Right? Anyway, I leave you with that. Few ideas. Beautiful consciousness. Beautiful revelation this week. And please share it. Please tell it to one more person if you have. And tell them to share that with another person. Pass it along. Or even just speak about it, if you can. I'm also going to share in the description this beautiful clip from TED Talk. I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. Exactly this class, exactly this message. And I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much.